Oh, shout, 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 shout. The Bills are making it happen. Welcome, welcome to a brand new episode, the most ambitious episode yet of Scattered. I am your host, the host with the most, Brian Fink. And we are celebrating today, as you guys can hear it, 5 times now. 5 times, 5 times, 5 times. The Bills are now AFC East champions. We're going to go over that today. We're going to go over Survivor Series from the WWE. There's a lot going on. Got an interview with my beautiful wife, Cynthia. So much going on today. This is going to be the most ambitious episode yet. Let's go, Buffalo! Let's go, Buffalo! Shout! I know I always tell you guys that I'm not going to sing, and there I am singing again. It is a good day to be a Buffalo Bills fan. I may not feel that way very shortly, here as we come into the postseason soon. But for now, what a game. What a hell of a game last night. Josh Allen, absolutely unbelievable, breaking the great Jim Kelly's record for total touchdowns, the most in franchise history with 247. He's going to beat Jim Kelly's with 244. The great Jim Kelly, who brought the Buffalo Bills to 4 Super Bowls in a row in the early 90s. And guys, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to be the Cowboys. But damn it, I'm saying it. This is our year. We're doing it. We are winning the Super Bowl this year. You mark your calendars. I have said it. The Buffalo Bills bring the Lombardi Trophy to Orchard Park this year. And I just jinxed us. You're welcome, Orchard Park. You can send your hate mail to me. I'll gladly accept it. Guys, we have a lot going on. We're going to go into more detail on that game today. We're also going to cover this past weekend. WWE had their annual Survivor Series event. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the indifferent, if we're being honest. And guys, I have for you this week part 1 of a special sit-down interview with my beautiful wife, Cynthia. We're going to discuss life with cerebral palsy. We're going to discuss growing up in Guyana and her transition moving up here to the United States. We are going to talk about our daughter, Samantha. It's a beautiful interview. It's over 40 minutes long, so I'm going to break it up into sections, but you're going to hear part 1 today. And then to close it out, we're going to talk a little bit about my health. I'm going to give you an update. For those of you guys who are following me on Facebook or on any social media, I've kind of alluded to, I wrote a blog post talking about my battle with long COVID. So we're going to go into all of that today. I'm super excited. Thank you guys for joining us. Bills, again, for the 5th year in a row, AFC East champions. Now the work has to get done. Guys, we're going to talk about a lot today. Okay. All right. So, like I said, we were going to start off with the Survivor Series. Survivor Series is WWE's annual November pay-per-view. It is the second long, or now they call it PLE, Premium Live Event, because the idea of pay-per-view for the WWE is kind of dead with the advent of the WWE Network. So, anyways, growing up, Survivor Series was always on Thanksgiving Eve. It was a tradition for the WWE that they started actually because the NWA, which ran opposition, and we can do a deep dive, guys. We can go into wrestling history. You've seen every documentary. If you're listening to this and you're a wrestling fan, you know the history already probably. You've seen every documentary WWE has released. But basically, the NWA had their premiere event called Starrcade. They had it on Thanksgiving every year or Thanksgiving Eve. And the WWE began running opposition. They started to have the Survivor Series in 1987. It was the second pay-per-view, as I said. The first one, obviously, is WrestleMania. But from there, Survivor Series happens. Vince McMahon basically tells all of the pay-per-view providers, if you're going to show the Starrcade, which was the NWA's event, then you don't have access to Survivor Series. WWE had a much wider base. WWE ends up winning that. Starrcade eventually gets moved to December. I'm probably getting way ahead of myself and way off topic. Point is, the Survivor Series is a marquee event for the WWE. And it is also my birthday month, so I always correlate Survivor Series with my birthday as well. Shout out to 38. This is probably the best I've ever looked. And, we can talk about that later on when we go into my health. But enough about that. Let's talk about Survivor Series itself from this past Saturday, where they were in Vancouver, British Columbia. This is now only the third time that they've done a pay-per-view in Vancouver, and it's been many, many years. Here's what I'm going to say up front, guys. I hate having two WarGames matches. I know. I sound like Jim Cornette, right? I'm complaining about it, but he's 100% right. And first of all, I am also huge fan of Cornette's, so I'll be the first to admit, I listen to a lot of what he says, and most of the time it makes sense. I don't always agree, but most of the time it makes sense. Going back to this, I hate the idea of having two WarGames matches. I don't feel, you can call me sexist, you can get mad at me. I don't feel that just because the men have it or just because the women have it, that the opposite sex has to have the same match. It doesn't always fit. And this year, it really shone through because they started the event with the women's WarGames match. Now, for this one, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan have had an awesome program going on for a long time. So them in this made sense. Raquel being Liv's bodyguard or heavy, kind of like her Diesel, if you will. That made sense. But the problem was that a lot of this was, hey, we need to have this. We have to have it because we need two WarGames matches. So let's just throw a bunch of people in there. I was not a fan of it. I hate all the weapons that get brought into WarGames. I miss the old WCW/NWA WarGames. I loved the old ones. Both teams were around the cage, shaking the cage. You felt them. There were entrances on either side. So the heels had an entrance that they would come in. The baby faces had an entrance. This one, everybody's just locked in a shark cage. I will say I was shocked that Nia started for the bad guys for Liv Morgan's team. I think Nia Jax gets a lot of flack. I think this run since she's come back has been her best run, and I think she deserves to be the WWE Women's Champion. With that said, I don't think this was her best outing. I'm just being honest, guys. I don't think it was that great. There were so many weapons brought into this. Every time that somebody came out, they'd run to the ring, and then they'd stop. And then they'd jump under the ring and start grabbing around looking for weapons to bring in the ring. They brought chairs, they brought tables, they brought kendo sticks, they brought garbage cans. Io Sky brought in a purple garbage can that she eventually dived off the top rope, or off the top of the cage, I should say, with. And to me, I'm sorry, I just don't get into it. I make fun of AEW all the time for the garbage wrestling and because it's not really coherent, and this match just didn't do it for me. I will say that Rhea's mask was awesome. I loved Rhea. She came out, she had the protective mask over her face because of the injuries that she had. Her orbital bone was broken. So the mask she had on was completely badass. I loved it. It was awesome. From there, it was what it was. The heels get heat. Babyface comes out. Instead of saving their friend, they stop, they run, they grab weapons. lather, rinse, repeat. And that was the entire match until finally Rhea gets in there and the War Games begins. They went back and forth. As I said, Io Sky from the top of the cage covers herself in the garbage can and jumps down. Luckily, everyone was just standing around waiting for her, which is a huge wrestling pet peeve that I have nowadays. And then at the same time she's doing that, Tiffany Stratton is off the top of the other cage or the other side of the cage and swantons onto everybody. So more back and forth, a lot of botched spots. In the end, Rhea hits a riptide on Liv from the second rope through the table for the 1, 2, 3. Guys, I also don't like pinfalls in War Games matches. I loved when it used to be, even though it was redundant and kind of stupid. I loved the you can only win by surrender or submission. There's my really bad Gary Michael Capetta for anyone paying attention. So this match was what it was. Again, I don't think you needed to have 2 War Games matches. I don't think you need 2 Royal Rumbles. I think for the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, it'd be cool to give one to the guys and one to the women. And the winner of one, you could even alternate each year. The winner of one gets the shot at WrestleMania for the respective title. It was just too much. It's too much, and I'm not a huge fan. I am a huge fan, though, of the guy in the next match, L.A. Knight. Yeah. He defended the United States title against Shinsuke Nakamura. Someone else who, again, I don't know what it is. I don't get Shinsuke. I never did. I never got Shinsuke. I know in New Japan, he was great. He's a former IWGP World Champion. People love him. His music has always been awesome, but I don't get it. I never got it. I never got into him. It's just kind of how it is. This storyline, I was a little weary on. It felt rushed. Having Shinsuke show up a couple of weeks ago, he sneak attacks LA Knight. It happens a couple of weeks. LA Knight tries to get the upper hand, and it backfires last time on SmackDown. So now they have a U.S. title match. One thing I will say, and it's not a shot at LA Knight, it's not a shot at Shinsuke Nakamura. It's the problem with starting with a War Games match is the crowd is dead for the next match. So the crowd wasn't really into it. I wasn't really into it. Shinsuke gets a reverse DDT on to the part that separated the 2 rings because for the War Games they had 2 rings. So there's like a metal strip that is keeping the rings together. He hits a reverse DDT and then the Kinshasa for the 1, 2, 3. He wins the United States title. Again, I'm not a big fan of Shinsuke. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't like the title switch. I think it was too quick. I don't know. I unless they're moving LA Knight up. Otherwise, this just felt kind of like, man, we can't have Shinsuke come back and just job, so we have to put him over. I trust Triple H enough. The booking has been good enough over the last year that I'm sure there's going to be some kind of payoff to this. But after the War Games match, I didn't really feel that. What I did feel was the next one, which was the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, and my boy Braun Breaker. So I'm going to say a couple of things here up front. Ludwig Kaiser has the best facials out of anyone in the WWE. He is the most snotty looking, arrogant POS out there. He comes out, the look, that's for my YouTube guys who are watching. By the way, first episode on YouTube. Hi there. He comes out, he's so snotty looking. He's so arrogant looking. He exudes arrogance. Sheamus is a huge asset at this point. Continues to put people over and really have, as he would say, banger after banger after banger after banger. There's an X-rated joke there I'll make, but I know my cousin and her kids listen to this show, so I won't make it. Anyways, Sheamus is on a hell of a run also. He's really helping out the younger talent. The story for this match is Sheamus has done everything except win the Intercontinental Championship, and this was his opportunity. But to do that, he had to go through my boy, Braun Breaker, the son of Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin, hoo, 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 and the nephew of Big Papa Pump, the current reigning defending Intercontinental Champion. Guys, I'm going to say it right here. Breaker is a star. I'm not breaking any news. Everybody knows it. You guys who are listening to this right now, you know Breaker is a star. Breaker is unbelievable. He hits the ropes, supposedly, if we're to believe it. He hits the ropes, according to Michael Cole, at 23 miles per hour. He hits it pretty damn fast. If it's 23 miles an hour, I have no idea, but he hits it pretty damn fast. He has the look. He's got the pedigree. He has got the presence. He's awesome. He's awesome. And this match was awesome. There were a lot of really cool back and forths. I loved the spot where Ludwig Kaiser is hanging out on the barrier, just kind of catching his breath. And Sheamus had been tossed into the crowd. And he slowly rises up and he has that look on his face. And then he grabs him for the 12 or 10 beats of the Bowery. And all I could think of, my brother Matt pointed it out to me. And since he said it, it's all I could think of. It's like that scene in Rambo 2. Where Rambo is hiding in the mud. And all of a sudden his eyes open and he grabs the guy from behind. It's exactly what it reminded me of. They go back and forth, back and forth. Sheamus looks like he's about to win it. Kaiser interrupts. He pulls out the referee. He hits Kaiser hits, I don't know what he calls his finish. It's like a weird hammerlock DDT. I don't know if he has a name for it or not. But he hits the hammerlock DDT on Sheamus. Breaker gets rid of Kaiser and then hits the second best spear in WWE. Because I can't stand Jey Uso's, for the record. More on that later. But he hits the spear on Sheamus after Sheamus took the hammerlock DDT. 1, 2, 3, and hoo, hoo, hoo. Braun Breaker is still the Intercontinental Champion. Definitely, I would say, probably from just the match itself, not the story, but just the match itself, it was the best match of the night, in my opinion, guys. But, again, I think Sheamus has done everything there is to do except win the Intercontinental title. That's going to happen eventually. They've been teasing it for almost 2 years now. Kaiser is a star. Kaiser is definitely a star. I think the best thing they can do is give him new entrance music. Gunther said that he wanted him to go on his own way. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get rid of Imperium. They could still be buddies. They don't have to have a split where Gunther beats the crap out of him or Kaiser turns on Gunther. They could both go their ways and be arrogant heels. But Kaiser's a star. And Braun, like I said, is a superstar. Braun is the next face of the company. Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu, again, more on him later, are the two, they are the breakout stars waiting to happen. They are the next Cena and Orton. They are the next Brett and Shawn. They are the next Hogan and Macho. They're the next Austin Rock. I don't think they're going to be the box office attractions that Austin and Rock are, or the box office attraction that Hogan was. But what I mean is they're going to be 1 and 1A. They're going to be Roman and Seth. They're going to be 1 and 1A. Mark my words, guys. But for now, we had Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. The World Heavyweight title match. I don't know. I don't buy Damian as a main eventer yet. And I feel bad because I really do like Damian Priest. I think he's awesome. I used to watch him as Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor and on the Indies. I like Damian Priest a lot. I have trouble buying, even when he had his world title run, I had trouble buying him as the world champion, guys. I'm sorry, I just did. But This match was okay. It came after my favorite match. So again, it was a bit of a cool down match. I liked it more than the US title match. What I like about Gunther is he's an old school heel. Everybody said it. He's slow, he's methodical. He worked the arm throughout the match. Damian Priest, for a big, big dude, he could sell his ass off. And I'm not talking about, taking crazy bumps. I'm talking about his facials, his body language, the way he does things, the way he manipulates the crowd and gets the crowd to feel. Damian Priest is very, very good with that. And usually with a dude his size, you would expect him to not be able to do that as well, to not garner that sympathy. I wouldn't know. I'm a short king, guys. I'm 5'6", but I imagine being that tall and watching as many wrestling shows as I have, watching as many movies as I've had, playing as many video games as I had. It's hard to have sympathy on a guy who's that big, and he's, 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. It's hard to get garner sympathy, but he does a great job. So this ended when Damian Priest fell out of the ring. Gunther fell into the ring. Referee is checking on Gunther, and Finn Balor shows up, hits a coup de grace onto Damian Priest on the outside from the top step, and Gunther comes out, gets rid of Finn Balor, throws Damian in the ring, hits him a couple of times, puts him in the sleeper, and Damian passes out. I gotta be honest again, guys, I'm not a fan of... I like Finn Balor, but I've hated the Judgment Day since its inception. Since it was Edge, Damian, and Rhea. It never did anything, and guys, I got news for you. Since Edge, Damian, and Rhea left it, it's nothing. Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, is fantastic. He is the best chicken shit heel in all of wrestling right now. And Liv is good. Liv Morgan has grown on me a lot. I used to not be a fan. She's grown on me a lot. But otherwise, Finn has not done anything. They always talk about, he was the first Universal Champion and he had to give it up due to injury. And that sucks. But he hasn't done anything since. That was 2016, guys. He's been Intercontinental Champion a couple of times. I don't buy Finn as a credible threat. If you want me to believe Damian Priest is a main event guy, we've got to end this thing with the Judgment Day. It's got to be over once and for all. Do not drag it out till WrestleMania. It's got to be over. It's got to end. Let Damian finish off Finn and let it be over. It's the only way to get Damian Priest to the next level, because even though he's out of the Judgment Day, the involvement with the Judgment Day is still keeping him down. That is a group that I just can't get into. And now you're going to love my transition, because the group I can get into, and I'm throwing the ones up for those who can see it again on YouTube. The main event is the only WarGames match that should have happened tonight. It was the new Bloodline versus the OGs, the original Bloodline, and CM Punk. So before I talk about the match, guys, we got to talk about... I'm going to talk all about the NFL in a little bit, especially my Bills. We got to talk about that cringy opening that they did. So for anyone who watches Sunday Night Football or anything like that on NBC, when the offense and the defense first come on the field, you'll hear the position player say their name and the college that they attended. Josh Allen, Wyoming. Deion Dawkins, you already know University. Why would you do this for WarGames? Why? Because you have a partnership with NBC? That's got to be the only reason. Because you have a partnership with NBC. It was so cringy, guys. It wasn't funny. There are times... I've been a huge wrestling fan since 1992, since I was 5 years old. There are times when wrestling really makes me cringe, and this was one of them. It was just so awful. I love the way they set this up, though. So, the new Bloodline, they all come out together. They're one cohesive unit. The baby faces, everybody's separate. Sammy comes out. Huge pop from the Canadian crowd. Then Jimmy Uso comes out. Then CM Punk. Then Roman, which surprised the hell out of me because I thought for sure Roman would have last entrance. But then Jay comes out through the crowd. They started with Tonga and Jay Uso. This one was a lot better, guys. They did throw in some chairs. There was there were tables, of course, in it. But this one flowed a lot nicer. There was an actual story. There's been a story for years building with this. I know people were not happy with CM Punk. They felt like he kind of got shoehorned in there. I love it. Personally, I love the connection to Paul Heyman. Anything Paul Heyman touches is beautiful. It's artwork. It's chef's kiss. So I'm perfectly happy with Punk being involved in this. There's a great moment where it's a throwback to a couple of years ago in the WarGames where Jimmy Uso was getting ready to go out and Roman puts his arm out, stops him, shakes his head no, and tells Sami Zayn he has to go out. So this time, CM Punk's getting ready to do it, and Roman puts the arm in front of Punk and tells Sami to go out there. And the three of them stand there awkwardly, and Sami goes out there. Then Roman is ready to go out, and Punk just pushes right past him and goes out there. Great psychology. The team had a lot of issues. There was a very, very scary spot where Jacob Fatu goes for a moonsault onto Punk towards the end of the match through a table, and he falls off. I don't know if he didn't have enough room for his moonsault. He didn't factor in the cage. Or it may have been storyline and I was just sucked in and it was a way to hurt Jacob Fatu. Either way, because they've done that before. They did that at SummerSlam. So either way, I went, ooh! And my daughter's looking at me, what? And I'm like, did you see what happened to Jacob Fatu? Guys, he's a star. He is, I've seen him live a few times. MLW, Major League Wrestling, shout out Court Bauer. I've gone to MLW events and I've seen Jacob Fatu. I was there the night Hammerstone beat him for the world title, which was an awesome event. Jacob Fatu is the man. I have to say on the babyface side, I don't get Jey Uso. The yeet thing, I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know if it's just because I'm a dork. I don't get it. I don't think his promos are that great. I think him and Jimmy throw just as many super kicks as the Young Bucks. I think they're better workers. I think they have better psychology. But they throw just as many super kicks. And if I'm going to bitch about the Young Bucks, I got to bitch about the Usos. I don't get it. Roman is the star. Roman is the man. And Punk is right there with him. So this ends where all the baby faces are lined up and it's just Solo. And the Usos hit him with a couple of super kicks. Sammy, a haluva kick right into the GTS from Punk. Spear from Roman, 1, 2, 3. Paul Heyman comes out, prior to actually, I apologize, I'm saying this out of order. Paul Heyman comes out as Punk and Roman continue to bicker, and he's pleading with them, please, please, my tribal chief, CM Punk, my friend, you guys have to get along, or we'll all fall down. Heyman just chews the scenery. He's beautiful. Again, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. He's amazing. So they get along. At the end, they win it. The babyfaces win. They all walk out. They all give the wise man, Paul Heyman, a hug. Punk says something along the lines of, you know, you owe me a favor. Don't forget. After, you know, when the time comes, I'm gonna go for that favor. And that was it. They all posed together at the end. Punk jumps up in between and does the go to sleep thing while the others are throwing out the ones. And that was Survivor Series. As a whole, it was okay. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite pay-per-view, but it wasn't the worst pay-per-view I've seen. It just kind of existed. There was nothing all that unpredictable about it. I enjoyed it. And let me know what you guys think. Somebody tell me differently. Maybe there was something I missed. Maybe there was something better that I should have thought of. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear all about it. All right. Well, as Chris Berman would say, nobody, nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. And of course, he would say that during the Jim Kelly era. And last night's game between the San Francisco 49ers, or I guess 3 nights ago, by the time you're listening to this, of the San Francisco 49ers versus the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park was kind of the passing of the torch for Jim Kelly. Now, don't get me wrong. The Bills have yet to go to a Super Bowl, let alone 4 in a row like they did under Jim Kelly. But Josh Allen, he's that dude. Josh Allen is that dude 100%. When Josh Allen first got drafted, I actually, true story, I remember thinking, man, I wanted Josh Frozen. And we see how that worked out. So I was so happy to be wrong. Josh Allen is, and I know I'm biased, but he is the league MVP right now. League MVP usually goes to quarterback. If we are going to be fair and we're going to open it up to everyone, Saquon Barkley has got to be up there. He's a possible front runner. Derrick Henry is a possible front runner. Jared Goff is having a hell of a year. Statistically, Lamar Jackson is having a better year than he ever had. And he won the last 2 years in a row. Or he won it last year, and he's won it once before, I should say. But Josh Allen is that dude. And Josh Allen is the MVP. He is going to be the NFL MVP. And if he's not, then he's never going to win it. Then the system is just set up for Allen to fail, and I don't think it is. There's too much going right now. You wouldn't have known it by his numbers last night, though. Josh Allen was 13 of 17 for 148 yards. He had 2 passing touchdowns, 1 to himself, by the way, and he had 1 rushing touchdown. Josh Allen has now become the first quarterback in NFL history to have a rushing, a receiving, and a passing touchdown all in the same game. And as we mentioned before, at the beginning of the show, he now eclipses Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly had 244 total touchdowns throughout his magnificent career with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, in year 8, now has 247, and it's only week 13. So there's going to be a lot more that he's going to score, whether it's rushing, whether it's passing, or hell, as we've seen now, whether it's receiving. What a play that was, by the way. Tosses it to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is completely blocked off. He laterals it back to Josh, and Josh gets it in the end zone. And that counts as a receiving touchdown. I don't know how the statistics work on that. It's a little weird for me. But, it's going to go in the record books. And for anyone who had him in fantasy, as we learned watching last night, Chris Collinsworth has him as his fantasy guy, as his fantasy QB, and he got double points from it. So Allen is just delivering. He's firing on all cylinders. He also had some help, though, if we're going to be honest here, was not just Josh Allen. James Cook, 14 carries for 107 yards, including a 65-yard run for a touchdown. The snow was heavy, though. Snow was very, very heavy in Orchard Park. There was over 2 feet of snow. They hired over 100 members of the Bills Mafia, $20 an hour, hot food and beverages to come in and clear up the seats. Imagine that. Imagine you have a company, you have an industry that is worth billions and billions of dollars. And you're like, hey, we have some fans who we could throw $20 to and they can come and do it because we don't have a company that can handle this. I don't get it. I think from an outside perspective, it's crazy. I would never do it. I love my Bills, but the Paganos are billionaires. They're building a stadium right next door that's going to be worth over $2 billion. You can't hire a company to come in and shovel. You're hiring the people from the neighborhood for $20 an hour. Does that include a seat? I saw on the broadcast 49ers fans there had to shovel out their own seats. Imagine that. You pay all this money. Let's say you live, let's play hypothetical. Let's say you live in California. You live in San Fran. And you come all the way to Orchard Park. So that's expensive as hell anyways to fly out there. You pay for the ticket, which it's Sunday Night Football with two very, very good teams. Not maybe this season for the 49ers, not the best season they've had, but you look at the last few years, they've been two of the hottest teams to not win the Super Bowl. The Niners have at least been there a couple of times. Bills are going to get there. I can feel it. But imagine that. You fly out here. You got to pay for your ticket. And by the way, bring your own shovel because you got to shovel out your own seats. I'm sorry. I love the Bills. I think that's bogus. That's completely bogus. It's ridiculous. 49ers, though, for their part, Brock Purdy, he struggled. He was 11 of 18 for 94 yards, no touchdowns. They were anemic. They were completely anemic. The only thing that the Niners had going for them was Christian McCaffrey, who was doing great. And unfortunately, after 7 carries, 53 yards, left the game with a knee injury. And I just found out this morning he's going to be out. I didn't see for how long. I think it was season ending. I'm happy to be proven wrong, guys. Feel free to let me know. And if I am wrong, by the way, I'll also make a correction next week. But feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Otherwise, the Niners couldn't get anything going. The run game for both of them, for both the Niners and the Bills, were definitely on point. The Bills just made it look easy. They were having fun. Josh Allen was comfortable. The crowd broke into Mr. Brightside, which has kind of become an anthem for the Bills. I put up an Instagram post yesterday after the game where I played Mr. Brightside on it. And I played it twice today, listening to it. My daughter is now into the song, which is kind of cool. I'm not really a Killers guy. I like that one. And I like Somebody Told Me You Had a Girlfriend Who Looked Like a Boyfriend. Or maybe I got that backwards. You have a boyfriend that looked like a girlfriend. Whatever. Again, 2024, I don't care. The Bills completely made it look easy. They now are 10-2. And like I said, for the 5th straight year, they have won the AFC East. And they won it Thanksgiving week, which is the earliest that a team has done it in, I believe they said 18 years. Let's call it like it is, though. A 10-2 record is awesome. But the Vikings are 10-2. Philly is 10-2. Neither one have won their division. Hell, the Vikings don't even lead their division because the Lions, who are my NFC pick to go to the Super Bowl, they're 11-1. So the Bills winning the division at 10-2, as much as I love my Bills, is more of a testament to just how god-awful the rest of the division is. The Patriots, and I'll never get tired of saying it, guys, the Patriots suck. They were eliminated. They're already out of contention. I will never get tired of saying that. I know Belichick's gone. I know Brady's gone. Gronk is gone. Edelman's gone. The 20-year nightmare is gone. But I'll never cheer for the Patriots. So the fact that they stink, I'm happy. Aaron Rodgers, the Jets, it is one of the most colossal. If it wasn't for the Deshaun Watson trade to the Browns, I would say that the Aaron Rodgers trade was one of the worst trades in history. Because it has been absolutely horrible. It's been a train wreck. He got injured year one, 3 plays into his first game. That was Matt Milano, and then karma came around and got him. But Rodgers comes back this year. The Jets. I have a friend who's a Jets fan. My wife is a Jets fan. My father-in-law is a Jets fan. And they were like, "Oh man, Jets are gonna do it this year. They've got Rodgers. They've got the best defense in the world. They picked up after a few weeks Devontae Adams. I mean, they're gonna do it. They're horrible. They're horrible. Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Only been to one Super Bowl, by the way. So for all the flack that Allen gets, and for all the flack that Phillip Rivers gets, and for all the flack that these greats have gotten, Dan Marino, another one, Rodgers has only been to one. Yes, he won it, but he's only been to one Super Bowl. So, that being said, one of the most accurate passers, one of the greatest passers, he's washed. He's done. He's trash. He's insert negative adjective at this point. And as a Bills fan, I'm not crying about it. And then there's the Dolphins, my dad's team. And the Dolphins with Tua are significantly better than without Tua. But this year has not been their year. Tua, his injuries make me very nervous. Knowing what we know about concussions, knowing what we know about CTE, and the frequency in which he gets them. He's a grown man. He's going to make his own decisions. Who the hell am I? I'm some dude in his basement shooting a podcast that hopefully a bunch of people will see. But for now, I've got an audience of 10 or 15. So what the hell does my opinion matter? It doesn't necessarily, but I'm going to tell you that knowing what we know now about concussions, knowing what we know about CTE, knowing about the long-term effects, it scares the hell out of me. It honestly scares the hell out of me. I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully he never gets another concussion. Hopefully he plays a whole bunch of years, gets a wild card every now and then, because I want the Bills to have the division on lock like we have. But I get nervous. I do. I get very nervous with Tua. The concussion he had earlier this year against the Bills, he's laying on the field, and for my YouTube guys, you can see it. He's laying on the field. His hands are all tensed up and contorted. It was a scary sight. He's a grown man. He's choosing to play. And again, they are significantly better with Tua. But they're not good enough this year. I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think that number 7 spot is going to either Denver or Indy. And I would say Denver. I'm at the time of this recording, guys, Monday Night Football is going on right now, but I don't have it on. So I don't know how Denver is playing right now, but they're playing against the Browns. So it depends on which Jameis Winston shows up there. Anywho, going back to Buffalo, I feel it in my bones this time, guys. I don't know. We were counted out again, which was great. I like it when we are the underdog. Everybody said we needed Stephon Diggs. We needed Gabe Davis. We needed Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. We needed Tre'Davious White. And those dudes were awesome on the Bills. I loved them on the Bills. I was upset to see all of them go. But this team, Josh Allen, he's put on the Superman cape. I know you've heard the cliche a billion times. I'm not saying anything new. He's put on the Superman cape, and he has single-handedly brought this team to the best it's ever looked. He is absolutely playing lights out. 5 interceptions the entire year, which is, for Allen, just spectacular. If he can keep that up, and if James Cook can keep eating, their mantra is everybody eats, and we're seeing it. We're seeing, doesn't matter if Dalton Kincaid is in there or Dawson Knox. At tight end, we've got it covered. Doesn't matter if it's James Cook or if it's Ray Davis. We've got it covered. We've got Shakir doing absolutely amazing. Shakir is. I was upset when Cole Beasley left, and I think the way he left kind of sucked. Um, I always felt bad because he was a great slot receiver, and I think the way he left sucked. Then we went through a couple of different people, but Shakir, he is that dude, and he's awesome, and we can win it. Josh can throw it to him. He can throw the ball to Mac Holmes, the Matt Riddle of the NFL. I had no idea who this dude was. And I remember watching an off-season interview with Josh Allen that he did with Kay Adams, and he's like, yeah, I think like Mac Holmes is kind of the wide receiver who's really standing out and like taking that leadership. And then I look at him, and I'm telling you guys, he's Matt Riddle. He walks around barefoot. He's his own dude, probably on the same earthly substance that Riddle is known for. But he's making plays. He's making plays. Curtis Samuel making plays. When Keon Coleman is in, when he's healthy, and when he gets back, he's making plays. The Bills are finding ways to win. The defense, Damar Hamlin. Damar, I love you, brother. One of the scariest things ever was what happened to him in that Bengals game a couple of years ago. But here we are, a couple of years later, dude. You're in a Pro Bowl. Well, you haven't been voted in yet, but you're leading right now in Pro Bowl voting, and it's deserved. You have been a lockdown player. So the Bills, it feels different, guys. I know I'm getting sucked in. I know what's going to happen. We're going to play the Chiefs in the divisional round. It doesn't matter if it's going to be at Arrowhead or if it's going to be at Highmark Stadium. It's going to come down to a single play, and the Chiefs are going to win it. But what if? What if they don't? What if what I said at the beginning of this podcast is right? What if the Bills get it done this year? I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm buying in again. I'm going to hate myself for it. I'm going to scream. I'm going to curse. I'm going to cry. Well, I might not cry, but I'm going to scream. I'm going to curse. I'm going to slam this hat on the ground. But damn it, I believe. I believe that this year is different. So my Buffalo Bills, to the Bills Mafia out there listening, this is it, guys. It's different. We can do this. We are going to do this. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my heart. And I'm ready to believe. All right, guys. Well, up next is a very, very special portion of the Scattered Podcast. It is the first interview that I have done. And I did this interview with my beautiful, beautiful wife, Cynthia. Cindy, as she's affectionately known as. And the reason I chose her for my first interview, besides the fact that she's my wife, is that this podcast is about all of us coming together. It's trope, it's cliched, but we're jumping all over the place, guys. And one of the things we talk about mental health, we talk about the sports, we talk about the wrestling, the entertainment, the games, but we talk about just life and life experience. And my wife, Cynthia, is one of the strongest, bravest, and most beautiful women that I know. And I'm obligated to say that at gunpoint. No, I'm totally joking. It's the truth. Cindy has had cerebral palsy her entire life. So while it does not define her, which is awesome, it certainly plays an impact. So in this interview, and we're going to break it up into sections, guys, over the next few weeks, because it's a long interview. But what we're going to do is we're going to play the beginnings of the interview. You guys are going to learn a little bit about Cynthia. You're going to learn a little bit about where she came from, which is Guyana in South America, and you're going to learn a little bit about life with cerebral palsy. So, this was a very special interview. It was my first interview. There was no one else I would rather have on and talk to than my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, the woman who has put up with all of my scattered ideas, including this podcast, as I'm filming. And right now it's 9:30 on a Monday, and she's upstairs. I'm down here filming, and she's supporting that because she wants me to live my dream. So there's no one else I would rather interview. Guys, I hope you enjoy part 1 of my sit-down interview with my wife, Cynthia. Thank you. I am Brian Fink, and I hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I certainly did, with the woman sitting right next to me, my beautiful wife, Cynthia, who's going to be joining us today. Cindy, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hey, listen, I have to have you on the show. Otherwise, I'm probably going to end up sleeping on the couch, and I don't want to do that. So, as you guys know, this show is about everything. It's a variety show. I've said it a billion times. It is about mental health. It's about video games. It's about sports. It's about movies. It's about wrestling. But at the root of all of this, it's about conversation. It's about connection. It's about community. And part of community is learning about each other, learning about things that we may have not experienced, but maybe someone else has. So with that in mind, today's episode is not going to be entirely surrounded by this, but one of the things we are going to discuss is my wife Cynthia's cerebral palsy. Now, before we get started, for anyone who is wondering, cerebral palsy is defined as a group of neurological disorders that cause permanent problems with movement, balance, and posture. Now, it can affect everybody in different ways, and I am going to kind of move over to Cindy now and let her talk. But before we jump into cerebral palsy and how that's impacted your life, I'd love to hear a little bit more just about you and have our listeners and viewers now, because we are on YouTube. This is our first episode on YouTube, and we're super excited about that, to bring you an actual video format of this. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, like what my lovely husband said, I'm his wife, Cynthia or Cindy, you can call me either or. I was born in Georgetown, Guyana. I am by my lovely mother, Carrie Mitt, and my father, Clarence Ross. My growing up in South America, Guyana, was very fun, very exciting for me, because the weather was warm and hot there. So when I first came up to America, I was 9 years old. The reason why I came up to America was because for a better education and to be closer to my dad and my other family members. And so that's why.
So when you were in Guyana, for those listening who maybe have never been to Guyana, myself included, can you tell us a little bit about it, what it was like growing up there, and how that transition of moving from South America to the United States worked for you?
It was very hard because I didn't want to leave my mom. and my mom was my biggest supporter, my biggest inspiration, my biggest love, my biggest connection there. So when I first came to America, I was like kind of like anxious, nervous, didn't want to come up here, like what I said at the beginning. Then I didn't want to leave my mom.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely. No, and I get it. I completely understand that. Now, what are some of the key differences from and you were 9 years old, correct? When
Yeah.
you moved up here. So, granted, it wasn't a great deal of time, but what were some of the key differences that you noticed in terms of the culture of living in Guyana, and then kind of that juxtaposition to moving to the United States?
The people in Guyana, people in Guyana will tell you straight up, tell you how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, how you look, like like even to the day, my mom still tell me how I look, how I do my hair, and make sure I'm looking good all the time. So yeah.
So you feel like there's a little bit more bluntness with people in Guyana. Maybe they weren't quite as tactful in terms of how they would come and speak with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. No, I can understand that. And guys, full disclosure, I'm doing this interview so that you guys can get an understanding of it. But trust me, I know Cindy's family very, very well. I love Cindy's family. But yeah, they're blunt. They will tell you straight up exactly what is on their mind, which is a beautiful thing because I would much rather someone be honest with me and speak with me on the up and up than beat around the bush and BS me. So I can definitely attest to that. One thing I did want to touch on in your childhood, maybe when you were growing up in Guyana still, is what was it like? When did you first kind of notice that you were maybe developing a little bit different? Did you notice that you were developing differently than others? And what was your experience like when you were really, really young dealing with cerebral palsy?
Well, that I remember, I used to crawl when I was like 4 to 5 years old. Oh, I'm not sure exactly when I started it to walk, but when I started it to walk, my mom told me that I was 4 years old. So when baby when 1 year old or 2 year old will walk, I couldn't walk. Well, I used to have to crawl.
Okay, and so how what was that feeling like seeing everyone else kind of in your age group, seeing everyone else walking while you were still crawling? How did that make you feel?
I don't know how I would feel when I was 4, because I don't remember a lot of stuff when I was 4. So yeah.
Okay. And listen, I get it. I don't remember a whole lot of when I was 4 either. So I'll have like little sporadic memories, but yeah, I mean, I don't really remember a lot of emotions from 4 years old either.
Yeah.
So I get it completely. All right, so that was part one of my interview with Cynthia. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. And I hope you're excited for part two, which will be on next week's episode. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into life as a mother. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into Cindy's experiences dealing with people from outside of her social circle and how they kind of view her, some assumptions that are made about her. We're going to learn a little bit more about that. Next week, we're also going to talk some more about wrestling. Uh, by that time, Monday Night Raw, which is on right now, Friday Night SmackDown will also have aired at that point. I don't watch AEW, guys, but if somebody wants me to watch it and review it, I will. But you're going to have to let me know. You're going to have to either email me at brianfinkscattered@outlook.com, or you're going to have to leave a comment on the YouTube or on Spotify or Apple. And I'll do it if you guys want me to. I don't watch it. Next week, I'm also going to talk a little bit about what's been going on with my mental health and my physical health. So, for those, again, I kind of alluded to this earlier on. For those who know, you know. For those who don't, I have been dealing with long COVID and effects from long COVID for a couple of years now. I'm going to go into some details next week, some really big details about it, share some experiences that I've had. And I'm just hopeful, guys, that when I share these experiences, it's not, I want you guys to know, it's not about sympathy. It's not about looking for attaboys or anything like that. I want you guys to know, A, that you're not alone. And B, if there's someone who's going through something similar, reach out. I keep talking about the scattered community, and I mean it, guys. We're in this together. This is a community. If there's something you guys like, you want me to cover it, let's do it. If I touch on something when I'm talking about physical health or mental health, or when I'm talking about sports or wrestling or anything, if there's something that video games, movies, if there's something I touch on and you guys want to hear more or you have an opinion on it, reach out to me, brianfinkscattered@outlook.com. Leave a comment on YouTube. Leave a review or a comment on Spotify, Apple Music. Let's build this community together, guys. I thank you so much. This was, like I said, the most ambitious episode I've done yet. We jumped around. We had different topics. But this is what I envisioned for us, guys. This is what I'm hoping for. This is what I'm looking to do. I also want to let you know that next week I'm going to be making another cool announcement about another project I'm working on. So I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. Please join me. Thank you so much. If you sat through all of this, I don't know what to say other than thank you. I love you already. You are awesome. I can't wait to continue to bring my scattered thoughts and opinions to you. I can't wait to have more exciting guests like Cindy, as well as many others in this scattered community. And I'll ask you guys again, let's stay scattered, but let's stay connected. Have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Go Bills!